We are on.
Go. What's up, Chat?
How you doing?
Doing good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. So this is fun. A live on Insta, hopefully on Facebook too, with my coaching soulmate, business soulmate, Matt. Pleasure to be on with you, sir.
Right back at you.
So we are here as co-creators of Impact Accelerator. Matt, Impact Accelerator, what is it?
Impact Accelerator is our life's work. It's that thing that we started together about 4 years ago. We didn't even know we were starting it, but now what it is a 4-month program for coaches, creators, consultants to help you take a deep dive, understand your superpower, wrap that up into your ultimate coaching program, launch it, and sell out your launch in about 4 months. That's what we've got as our main product for Impact Accelerator.
Yeah, right. And this is, like you say, it's our life's work. It's everything that we have done in this world, everything that we know about sales, about marketing, about fulfillment, about systems put together in our best work. And as we were putting this together, what is it now? Maybe a couple of months back in Antigua, we were sat on a beach underneath some trees. We called it our office for a couple of days, and you got a voice message through, which I think probably instigated this whole chat around coaching. What was that voice message?
It was a message from a client who was about 2 months into Impact Accelerator, getting ready for her launch and doing great, but just really starting to question, like, you know, and this is always when it gets hard, is when you're just on the edge of launching and it's time to, you know, express yourself powerfully to the world. So you had this question of like, what am I doing? Like, is this coaching thing, like, am I making the right choice? Am I joining the right industry? Like, will it be possible for me to actually create my life's work and do this forever? Am I entering an industry of growth where I can actually solidify myself as a thought leader and live out my dreams within the coaching industry?
Such a valid, pertinent, important question, right? Especially if you look at it from the perspective of someone who is coming into this industry and perhaps seeing an industry, yeah, Katie says, like imposter syndrome, exactly, right? How many of us, I'm not very good at looking at all the comments and stuff along the way, but we'll figure it out. Imposter syndrome afflicts all of us, right? So many of us, especially when it comes to coaching. So, Matt, I feel that question is relevant to whether you are starting out as a coach, whether you are already coaching a few people, whether you are in employment, moving into coaching and entrepreneurship, whether you are a coach who has a few clients, a coach who has a number of clients. We still feel that, right? Especially in the uncertain times which we have faced for the last 2 years, and again are facing literally as we do this live. Of course, people are asking, is this the right industry? Is there too many people in this industry? Is this the right place for me? Can I fulfill my dreams? Can I live out my vision in this industry? What would you say to someone like your client who is asking those questions?
Yeah, well, I would first, you know, I would even step back a moment to like even dial us back, like, Chet, like why are you and I even the people to even like talk about this concept?
So yeah, so like neither of us have a crystal ball, right? None of, and we felt this, we saw this sentiment emerge at the start of lockdowns and all that type of stuff. People were saying, oh, we don't know what the future holds. Like, you know, who are we to determine what happens over the next couple of years? So of course, neither of us know what happens in the future. I think what we do have is a ton of insight and perspective from different places around the coaching and consulting industry. So I have spent the last 15 years in the coaching industry, probably longer actually, through health and fitness, first of all, as a health and fitness, as a strength coach, very quickly moving in to coaching coaches and understanding that what I do best within that is helping coaches to communicate meaningfully and powerfully with clients, and created companies, businesses, coaching programs around that, culminating in the thing that we're doing together, Impact Accelerator. Right? And if I can speak for you for a second, Matt, at least my perspective of of you and coaching and consulting. So you are ex-corporate consultant, which I think is a fantastic perspective to have here, this real mix of business and coaching and consulting. Coming out of that, you were my first big ticket coach, the first coach who I truly and deeply invested in. Thank God I did that. And then off the back of that, you have joined coaching companies, small and big. You've started coaching companies. You've dissolved coaching companies. You've developed coaching companies. You've helped other coaches to create and develop and scale their coaching companies as well. And that's been the nature of my work too over the last few years through our own separate accelerators, right? I think, didn't we get to this in Antigua? We worked out that through our accelerators, we've had probably 100+ clients through, but in terms of coaches who we have helped to develop as coaches, we're into the thousands.
Mm-hmm. And I think one of the things I'd like to highlight there too is that, you know, even though I did start my coaching career coaching coaches, you coach coaches, you coach coaches, you coach coaches, you coach coaches, I don't know of another person on this planet who's invested more in, or not necessarily invested more in coaches, but who is as soulfully invested in coaching as I am. Right now, I have about 7 coaches who I'm working with in all facets of my life. In the past 4 years, I've spent well over $100,000 on coaching. I believe that coaching is the answer to getting to where you want to be, to becoming who you want to be, to being able to accomplish anything and everything that you want. So I live that on a daily basis within my own life. So even though I'm coming from the big picture perspective of consulting and coaching and helping other coaches, I couldn't believe that more and live it more in my own life.
Likewise, Matt, and I'm your marketing coach too, right? So this thing just goes round and round. Yeah, totally. And I have to say, I'm going to allude to, we're going to be talking about our previous selves, I think, a few times in this live. And Katie says, you two really combine the best of both worlds. Thank you, Katie. Katie's saying a few things and getting really engaged in this live. So I appreciate that, Katie. Yeah, you know what, Matt? I think previous Chet used to think he could do everything himself. And if I had a vision, something that I wanted to do, someone who I wanted to be, and I'm going to come back to that in a minute because I think that's a super powerful statement and I don't want to skip over that. But definitely something that I wanted to do in business and life. I had this notion, especially if I was on a budget, that I could do it myself. I should try it myself. I should give it a go myself. And that should was really strong, that I should do this. I should at least give this a go myself. I should like immerse myself into it by myself before I get a coach. I think one of the things that I've realized over the last few months and years, and you've definitely had a part to play in this, if nothing else, because of your MO, like you said, that when you have something, when you have a vision, have a specific vision, a specific area of life and business that you want to excel in, your instinct, you automatically go for, I need a coach in this, to the extent at which you have, what, 3 sales coaches, right?
Yeah, it's like, what's my problem? And let's find the best in the world to help me solve that problem.
And I think that is not to be underestimated. That's such a powerful perspective when it comes to creating significant shifts in life and business. And on your Insta, on the stories coming into this, you put up a story, and that story said in 2022, coaching is no longer a nice to have. Coaching is a must have. What do you mean by that?
If you are a human who's driven to personal growth, to impact, to freedom, to want to expand your consciousness levels, to wanting to feel everything life has to offer, to wanting to experience it all, you can't do it alone. There are us as humans over time, we've accumulated programs, processes, things from external influences in society that what happens is it just accumulates within us, in our brains, in our bodies. And in order to truly achieve those levels of freedom, fulfillment, of ultimate flow, of fun, what we need to do is we need to clear out all of what's not us, all of these things that are hindering us from achieving our full potential. And when it comes to our own limiters, we can't do it alone. We
and they're
can't.
hard to see, right? They're our own limiters, our root limiters, our blind spots, as some people might call them. They're blind spots for a reason. They're limiters for a reason. Matt, I remember you saying to me that if someone comes to you, and like, let me tell you something about Matt, right? One of Matt's strengths is I'll tell you two of Matt's strengths, actually. One of them is limiter lasering, really understanding what the root problem is behind something that you think is your problem. Matt is fantastic at that. And another strength of Matt's is he's a visionary. So he may not have a crystal ball, but he usually tells me things about a year in advance, and then I take a year to catch up with his layer of thinking, right? So Matt, you've told me that when someone comes to you and they think they have a certain problem in their business, maybe it's why their business isn't progressing, or why they're not where they want to be in their life, where they want to be in the business. Not only can you say to them that actually you know there's a problem underneath that, but you can categorically say that the problem that they have come to you with is not their actual problem because they know it, because they can see it.
If you think you know your problem, that's the problem. That belief that you know the problem is holding you back from identifying the real problem. When we put a story around, oh, this is the problem, it prevents us from finding other possibilities as to getting to that root problem. And Chet, I want to even address that first question. I think one of the biggest problems, limiters of humans who are drawn to personal development, helping others, wanting to live with freedom, and thinking about how they can be a coach, mentor, investor, entrepreneur, specifically when it comes to coaching and helping other humans, is, you know, I love the concept of it, Chet, but isn't the industry saturated? Is coaching even a good place to be in? Like, what if I call myself a coach? Am I limiting myself? So I want to throw that at you, Chet. Like, is the coaching industry the right place to be right now?
I love that question, because we're building up a conundrum here, right? We're building up this conundrum of the fact that everyone needs a coach. Coaching is so important to humans in terms of achieving your vision, in terms of being who you want to be, in terms of development and progression. Okay, so if everyone needs a coach, well, it kind of feels like everyone's becoming a coach these days as well, right? So that, yes, there are more and more coaches, and depending on where you look, what aspect or niche of coaching that you're involved in, most coaching is unregulated. Anyone can become a coach. Anyone can call themselves a coach. And even if there are accredited industries and bodies, like, people don't really know about that stuff. So is the coaching industry saturated? Yes. Is it going to get more saturated? Yes. But something that you said before this live, and I'm going to steal your thunder here for a minute, Matt, but it was such a brilliant insight that I'd love to share it now, is that the industry is saturated with crap coaches. Like, it's saturated with people who are not distinct from each other in terms of what they offer, how they do it, in their ability to help people. And because of that, it feels, perhaps when you're moving into the industry or just starting out in the industry, you feel the weight of these problems, I think. You feel the weight of, how do I distinguish myself as a coach? How do I rise above the noise? How do I find my people? Well, in fact, let's start from the beginning. Like, how do I find out who I really am as a coach? How do I find my people? How do I then take those people and truly find a way to deliver them what I know I can deliver, the very best of my work? How do I actually create that thing, and how do I get that out to market, are some of the questions we hear all the time, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. I think that 99% of the problems and limiters of that coach who is asking those questions and feeling blocked and feeling stressed about this whole coaching thing is looking outside of themselves for the answer,
Mm.
is buying a course on how to create, your Instagram, and going with that, is trying to recreate like on their website and trying to like leverage someone else's website and copying that and waiting till their website's perfect. It's very much it's near impossible to not, like, when you get into the industry, to not look at what others are doing and want to use best practices from others to get yourself started. Like, oh, this person's doing this, it must work. And what happens is, which I fully believe, is that all models are useful. All models are wrong. Some are useful. The only right model is your own. And so it's until we have that understanding that of truly what your superpower is, of who you serve, of what problem you solve, of how you solve that problem, then any work we're going to be doing is going to lead to burnout. It's going to lead to having to pivot. And so to come back to that question of how do I do this in a way that is differentiated, sustainable, profitable, I think it starts with you. And Chet, how do we start with you?
Well, yeah, we keep dialing back one step from the question, right? So the question is, how do you start? Hey, Woody, my faves, you are our fave as well, Woody, thank you. So how do we start with us? Yes, but then what you said there was about having a coaching business that is, or coaching program or whatever, that is distinguishable, that is profitable. And I think that what we're talking about there, something that is distinguishable, is such an important concept, because if we're talking about the future of coaching, then, and we're talking about a saturated market, then having something that is distinguishable is the essence of being able to stay in this game, develop in this game, be who you want to be, serve who you want to serve in this game, right? And I love that you're asking the question back around, okay, so I can't even quite remember the question, but like, how do we find ourselves and be ourselves in this coaching game, right? Mm-hmm. And I love you asking that question, because I think the question is so connected to the idea of being recognizable and being distinguished and being someone and being a person of influence and being someone who is rising above the noise in the industry. Because how else do we do that other than be ourselves? Anything else is going to feel like a battle. If we find the true nature of who we are, and as I'll explain in a minute, who we serve, then we can build something that is easy, that is fun and freeing and fulfilling. And that's how we rise above the noise, right? Because then the work doesn't become a grind. The work becomes easy, beautiful, synchronous, aligned, attuned. Use that word attuned, I've stolen that one. So how do we be ourselves? How do we find ourselves? It comes right back to vision and values, right? It has to come back to that. I think you are so in tune with the vision side. So am I. I'm still learning things from you when it comes to the power of vision. So I'm going to talk to values. I'm going to pass it back to you for vision, right? So values, story, this is stuff that we teach in Impact Accelerator, and we teach it right at the beginning, because until you understand who you are, the things that you stand for, the things that you stand up for, the things that you stand against in the world, the things that you are all about, the values, the behavioral boundaries, all the essence of you, what it means to be you, what it means to be a human, what it means to have been you up to this point. When you understand all those things, it actually becomes so clear in terms of, okay, here is how I can coach, but not fall into the trap of not looking after myself in the process, because values help you set boundaries. It becomes so clear in terms of, these are the types of people, the types of humans who I really connect with, because those types of humans share your values. And if we're going to give people a punchline in terms of the types of people who they work best with, help most, can deeply help, connect with the most, these are your types of people. These are the clients you should be serving, right? That comes from values, but it also comes from story, because the types of people you can help the most, who have to be the types of people that you focus on when you're coaching, because that's where you can create powerful, incredible, meaningful transformations. They are previous versions of you. So until we delve into story, which is the answer to one answer to your question of how do we find ourselves, understand your past, present, and future story. Understand the golden threads running throughout that. Until we understand our values, a second answer to the question of who you are and what you stand for as a human being, what it is that makes you unique as a human being. Until you understand those things, you can't understand yourself. Until you understand yourself, you can't understand your people. When you do understand those things, you can then take that vision and move forward and create off the back of that. So Matt, I'm going to pass it back to you on vision. Vision, why is it such a powerful concept when it comes to who you are and driving forward?
In order to achieve success, we need to know what success looks like. And the more clear that we can become on that North Star, that future, that exceptional future, you know, not only in our lives, but the entire world, and we can aim directly at that North Star, then what we can do is we can construct a roadmap exactly to get there. So the more clear that we can get on what we want our life to look like exactly, what do we want to be doing from a day-to-day basis? What do we want to be feeling? Who do we want to be? How do we want to be? How do we want to go about our day-to-day? Do we want to be happy, fulfilled, spontaneous, adventurous? And then the bigger questions of like, what world do we want to see? What do we want? What change do we want to see in the world? And then when we can wrap that up into a clear depiction of our exceptional future and an exceptional future, we can aim directly toward it and build the model to create that impact in our life, our client's life, in the world. What we can do is we can literally start to extract energy of that future and bring it into today. Because the way to live an exceptional future is to actually start to bring elements of that future into today. Like one of those for me was, you know, I always had this dream of waking up and being able to go surfing. And so for me, in order to turn that dream and that dream into a vision, into a reality, I had to put that into, you know, okay, my vision is to move to the beach, move to San Diego, and be able to have my own company and be able to have the freedom to wake up and go surfing. Okay, I moved to San Diego, and how do we make that vision a reality? Start to actually block off, you know, Friday mornings to go surfing. And that all starts with a vision, though. It all starts with clarity of the future that we want to see and clarity of the change that we want to create in our lives and our clients' life. And so that is the power of vision.
So here's what I'm hearing, right? That we're talking about the future of coaching. And so no surprise that we are talking about the future and vision and creating an exceptional future, envisaging an exceptional future. So let's then maybe talk about this idea, let's call it coaches of the future. Right? And what I'm meaning by coaches of the future are, okay, so someone's listening to this and they're asking that question that we talked about in the first place. If you've just joined the live, good to see you. What we talked about is coaching, is the coaching industry the place to be? Is it a place to be for now and in the future? Is it a place where you can thrive? Is it a place where you can find that fun and freedom and fulfillment? And if so, how do you do that? So let's talk about this coach of the future. Now, this coach of the future is someone who is thriving in the coaching profession. It's someone who is a coach who is standing head and shoulders above the rest of the industry. Because when you do that, that's when you get the inbound opportunities. That's when you have the most fun. That's when you can charge what you're worth and all that type of stuff, right? So let's talk about maybe what it means to be a coach of the future. And you already started us off because you said, okay, a coach of the future has a clear vision of the future. A coach of the future believes in that future. A coach of the future is starting to align their present moment with that future. And I think that belief that you're talking about, Matt, is just like, maybe underrated when it comes to being a coach of the future and having coaching as this thing that can really serve you just as much as it serves your people, enrich your life just as much as it enriches your people's lives, right? Because like you said, we need to back ourselves. We need to trust ourselves. We need to fully commit. And you talk a lot about courage and commitment, especially in the face of fear. And I'd love to pass that back to you. So, you know, yes, these are uncertain times. Yes, the entrepreneurial journey is tough. Yes, there are loads of fears. Can't help thinking that coming from this vision, commitment is a massive part of being a coach of the future, a coach who has the future of the coaching profession in his or her hands.
Mm-hmm. I believe that a coach of the future is someone who knows their vision, who is unwavering in their commitment to their mission, who knows their story and has packaged that up into their own ability to use their story to help others. I believe that a coach of the future is someone who is exactly that, who knows who they serve, who knows what problem they solve, they know how they solve that problem, they know their superpower, and they know that at that center of impact, at that impact point, when they help the person who they can serve most powerfully with their superpower, then that's the point of like ultimate value. And the coach of the future is someone who knows that and believes it and is able to take that which they do, that way that they serve the world, and wrap that up into their most clear, concise, compelling program to take another human on a journey of transformation and help that human achieve the highest levels of freedom, of fulfillment, of fun, of flow in their lives. So, and I think that it really starts with what we talked about, is having that understanding of who you are through your vision, your values, your mission, your story, and authentically and in a way that's really aligned, packaging that up into an actual mechanism to serve people and serve a lot of people, and do that in a way that drives you to your exceptional future and helps the person who you're supporting get to where they want to be as well. I believe that there's
one thing you said, because all of that, everything that you've said there, I'm 100% aligned with. I mean, this is what we teach, right? This is what we do in Impact Accelerator. This is the transformational journey we take people through. Why do we take people through that journey? Because we know, we have experienced, we have coached, and we have delivered this time and again. And we know that that journey is the journey that transforms a coach from being at the bottom of the pile to at the top of the pile. It transforms your life. It has transformed your life and my life many times over, in fact, right? So let's go back to this idea of transformation, because to me, coaching is about transformation. Transformation is about this monumental, significant change that you can create in people's lives. And you know what, like, if I could give the coaches of the industry a collective shake, I do this on social media quite often actually, if I could give them a collective shake and say, like, this is what you can do, have them believe in their own potential, in their own promise, in their own vision, it would be that every single person, I was going to say every single person who is a coach listening to this, but it's more than that. It's every single person listening to this has the ability, the power, the potential, the history, the story to enable you listening to this to change lives, to create transformation. And that is based on the transformations that you have had yourself, right? Your own story, your own journey. So for me, Matt, a coach of the future is a coach who truly believes that they can change the world, yes. And whether that sounds egotistical or arrogant, like, it's not, because where that comes from is an understanding that you can change the lives of the individuals who you can help most through what you do best, one person at a time.
Boom.
And that's why we create coaching programs, right? That's why selling sessions as a coach, selling days as a consultant, those days are numbered literally in every sense, because we need to show our people that we can help them to create transformation. So transformation, Matt, as a coach, creating transformation as a coach. If you are listening to this, and wherever you are on your coaching journey, just starting out, you've got a few clients, you're not sure whether this is the thing for you, you're not sure whether you can create transformation, what would you say to a coach who is now starting to get excited about being a coach of the future, who's now starting to realize that coaching is a profession that can sustain them and beyond, but they don't believe that they can create transformation. Where does it come from, that ability to create transformation?
I would tell that person to get a coach themselves. I believe that congruence comes from having experienced it, done it yourself, right? Every single person throughout their life has a story. Everything's brought you to this point, right? And so many people, they undervalue their story. And so if we can, you know, have someone with you lay out the transformation that you've experienced over the course of your life in a way that can drive where you're going, that's going to be the key, right? If your story is, I've never experienced transformation, it's going to prevent you from actually figuring out where you have experienced transformation. And on top of that, go experience some more transformation. Choose an area of your life where you're feeling stuck, stressed, or you just want to achieve something amazing. Hire a coach, have them support you with that. And once you've gone through the process yourself, you're going to see that, oh my God, I have experienced transformation. I've experienced transformation in a lot of other areas. And you know what? I've gotten coached. You know what? I can do this myself. So it's really until you've, I think really two parts, connected your story and your superpower to who you are and what you do. And then that's one part. And then until you have actually experienced that which you want to do, it's going to be really tough to do the thing. But then when you do both of those things, it's going to be really easy to do the thing. So I find that that limiter within people either comes from not having done the deep work or just being incongruent with not having a coach of your own.
That makes sense. And Katie says, everyone has a book in them, as it were. Yep, Katie, I've written 2 so far. The Butterfly Effect. Yeah, absolutely. Avery says that she's going to steal the collective shake. Avery, we're going to be giving people a collective shake together when it comes to the Impact Accelerator, that's for sure. So, Matt, yes, totally. And this comes back to a concept that comes back to this previous self, right? This concept of niche, because this is a thing I think that stops people a lot. I'd like to touch on this, and then I'd also like to talk about technology just for a little bit before we start wrapping things up, because that's an aspect we can't ignore. But when it comes to choosing your niche, or when it comes to an avatar or something like that, I know and you know coaches who circle around this for years, and perhaps is one of the biggest blocks, the biggest myths when it comes to enabling a coach to really commit to themselves, their worth, their value, their work, their people, their words, all of that stuff. So I'll start us off and then pass over to you, Matt. I would say that when we're talking about a niche, and we're just going to keep on this same topic that we've been talking about, transformation and your story, that you don't choose your niche chooses you. You already know the people who you help most and help best. You've already changed. In fact, even if someone's not a coach, would you agree with this, Matt, that even if someone is not a coach, they have already taken the things they have learned and experienced and started to, if not fully transformed and changed lives of people close to them. So they get worried that, how am I going to find my niche? How am I going to find my people? And what we do every single time in our accelerator is get our people to sell out their launches. How can we do that every single time with every single client? Because their niches are already around them. They're the people who they have helped and collected along the way, the people who are already following their journey 2 steps behind them. What else would you add, Matt, around? So if we're talking about coaches of the future owning their niches, what would you add to that?
Yeah, and I totally get this, because this was something that blocked me for a long time, as you know very well, Chet, as we worked on together, was what's my I help statement? What's my one-line bio? What's the name of my program? I have my website, but it's like 80% done. I'll finish the rest, and it never gets finished. I've got my course done. almost done, but it never gets finished, because what happens is we have this want to be convergent, to be able to say, I help this person with this problem with it to do this thing, because we see that on other Instagram accounts that have 100,000, 1 million followers. But what I find, what we know is that we don't yet have the data to be able to have our messaging that dialed in. So what we need to do up front, the route to the most impact, is actually take the deepest possible dive to understand who we serve, what problem we solve, how we solve that problem, what the world looks like after, based on our past success stories and based on our story. Package that up into our ultimate program, launch that program, land clients, serve those clients. And then when we serve those clients as powerfully as we possibly can, that is going to give us the data that we need to actually finish our website, to realize, like, oh, like, this is what I actually do. This is who I serve. I would like to say that I was not confident in my Instagram bio until 2 years into coaching. But yet, I had a 6-figure business both years into coaching. So what we need to do is get started with the best that we possibly have. Do that deep dive to understand our superpower, launch it, serve a lot of humans, and then let our work inform our messaging. Because without that data, without actually having done the deep work and serving powerfully, we're not going to be able to choose our niche. So in the beginning, like with what we do, we can get a really, really good general yet specific I help statement. But as we go down the line, as you get more and more data and help more people, you'll be able to dial in on your niche. So we don't want to dial in on our niche up front. That's what's going to hold us back forever if we do that.
Or at least dial in on our niche as the industry would perceive it, right? We can talk about, like, we can figure out who we deeply help and then build something of the very best of our ability to help. Okay, so Matt, if we start to pull some of these ideas together then. So if we were to talk about, like, the ultimate, I know you like the word ultimate, the ultimate coach of the future, right? Then what does this coach look like? What would they be doing at whatever stage in their career? Because I'd like to, whoever is listening to this, I'd like to give people something to move forward with, to tie up these ideas of who you are and values and vision and commitment and story. So this coach who is seeing this, listening to this, believing this, and is ready now to take a step into being a coach of the future, what do they need to start doing?
Yeah, and I'll answer this with some tactical solutions from 2 different categories of one who's a coach who's just getting going and one who's an expert coach who's been in the game. So I'd say for the coach who's just getting going, it's going to be about getting going and landing clients and serving those clients, but it's going to be doing it at a high bar. So it's not going to be about doing personal training sessions. It's not going to be about doing, 1 hour, $100 healing sessions, but rather it's going to be about putting together first taking a deep dive and doing what
Can I just ask you a question, Matt? If someone's listening to that and thinking, why not? Like, why can't I just do my PT? Why can't I just, charge £50 an hour? Why can't I sell blocks of 10 sessions? Like, why is that not the way?
You can. It's just going to be a low impact, slow incremental route. Because
which means stress and long hours and low money and probably pulling away from this idea that, I guess, if you're in that zone and you're slogging your guts out and you're not earning much money from it, you're not seeing the results even that you want and that you probably even promised your clients, it's not going to impel you, we learned that word yesterday. It's not going to impel you to consider moving further into coaching, further into transformation, further into development, right? It's going to put you off.
Yeah, and you're immediately starting based on the market. What does the market charge? What are other people doing? And where we actually want to be is what is your superpower? How can you truly help humans? And how can we package that up into your greatest expression of how you serve people? And how can we charge a lot of money for that, right? My first consulting package that I sold was $15K. My first high ticket coaching pack, my first coaching package was $5K. So, and then we do this with clients all the time, having them launch their first coaching packages at $1 to $10K And so, but it's because they have confidence around who they're serving, around what they're doing and how they're doing it. So that's why I would say let's, from the beginning, start out with something amazing, launch that, get data, and be able to hone it, right? What we've seen is that with every new launch of your next version of your program, you literally can increase your prices by 50%. And like I have data to back that. So why not start high and go higher and higher and higher and go on this exponential route, this upward spiral versus incremental stair steps.
And then you mentioned the expert coach then. What would you say for that expert coach?
And so for the expert coach, often stagnancy and fatigue comes from going about it in your own way without a clear plan of action and finding it difficult to take the actions that matter most, like treading water. It's like, oh, we're moving so fast, doing so much, but it's not getting us to where we need to be. I find that often comes from doing what we've been doing, over the years, instead of taking a step back and wrapping up our entire story and skill set into this ultimate program that delivers the full impact of everything that we've got to offer people. And then actually learning some new skills, learning like how to sell yourself at 10x what you previously were selling. It's about having the marketing methods, something like you teach, Chet, to express yourself powerfully and authentically on the internet. So you just start to magnetize people to you. You're getting in touch with the right people. You've got the right offer. And then finally, once again, you're energized and excited to deliver the evolution that you've created through your program. So, just to repeat that again, if you're just getting going, it's going to be one real deep dive, fast and hard deep dive to who you are, who you serve, your story, your superpower, turn that into your ultimate program, launch it, land clients, serve those clients. And then for the expert coach, it's not going to be that much different, but we just want to ensure that we are looking at that full story and creating a new one, pulling together everything you've ever done, all your experiences and skill sets into your best, your latest and greatest, and implement some new marketing methods that are going to...
I feel that what you're saying is, for beginner coaches, take a leap forward. Like, we're going to have to take a leap. We're going to have to take a jump here. There's going to be a point at which you're thinking, I'm not ready for this. I'm not sure I can do this. I'm not sure that I have this ultimate program yet. But, like, believe us, you do, you can, and you have. And for the experienced coach, it's about taking a step back. Like, you use those words a few times, right? So taking a step back, and because what I've experienced, and I think what you've experienced too, Matt, is that when you are 3, 5, 7, 10 years down the industry, you've built a business of bolt-ons. Because of your desire to serve your people, you've just added and added and added to your business. And so you are helping people, you are serving people, you are doing a lot, but you're also like, you're constantly trying to serve, add more value, serve more people, get more clients, and that's fatiguing. And it's not because you can't do those things, and it's not because you don't have the skills. So when you talked about learning new skills, I just want to make a little distinction here for a minute, because I think I know exactly what you mean. And I think when you said skills, you meant like systemized skills, and marketing systems, sales systems, and I think what we both found, if I can say that for experienced coaches, is that they don't need to do another skill-based course. They don't need to read another book. They don't need to, do anything like that. They don't need to add something else to their business. They need to stop, pause, take a step back, and then learn narrow down and learn the systems. It's not they don't have as the skills to create this incredible, high-end, transformational, high-ticket, life-changing program. They don't have the systems necessarily to wrap up their best work into that thing, then to be able to build it, create it, launch it, deliver it, and do that in a way which feels really good and connected and aligned. To me, if a coach takes those steps, does those things, like is able to, what my vision is? My vision is for all coaches, all humans, entrepreneurs, to feel connected and aligned to their work and their words and their world. And I think You know, when you align these things up, when you align who you are with what you build, when you align your work with your words, when you align your sales and marketing processes with your offering, when you pull all those things together and it feels seamless and beautiful and connected. And sometimes I think coaches don't even believe you can get there. But you and I and our clients are proof that this is possible, right? So coaches of the future, coaches who believe in themselves, believe in their vision, believe in their power to create transformation, believe in their power to have deep impact in a meaningful way with their people. We like those words, meaningful and impact. Believe in their abilities to put this together and launch it and do that time and again and go further and further and further into this industry, like really fully commit themselves to the coaching industry, being a coach, being a fearless coach, as you like to say. To me, that's what a coach of the future, or maybe an ultimate coach of the future, looks like.
That is beautiful. And the beautiful thing is not only that commitment to being that fearless coach of the future, but just making that commitment to yourself, to no longer accepting the status quo of a reasonable life as okay, no longer favoring comfort over adventure, no longer letting fear dictate your current actions and decisions, preventing you from a fun, free, and fulfilling future, right? I believe that the coach of the future is someone that is committed to doing the work, the personal development work, is committed to exploring the world, expressing yourself, treating life as this fun, amazing experiment. Because everything all money that you invest in yourself, all trips that you take, all people that you meet, you get to experience this personal growth, expand your capacity to serve, and then bring that back to your clients. So I believe that the coach of the future knows that they can earn while they explore. That the coach of the future knows that with every new amazing experience they have and limiter that they break through, they can serve more people more powerfully. And that to me is one of the most beautiful pieces of this industry. You're committing to this upward spiral of personal growth, of happiness, of fulfillment, of freedom, and you get to take that, everything which you experience, and give that back to your people and the world. And what greater way is there to live a life than that?
Coaches of the future believe in an exceptional future. Beautiful, Matt. Should we finish up there?
I think that's what we got for today.
Yeah, definitely. There's more here. Maybe we'll do another one.
Yep. Any final words?
I think that's it, honestly. I think that was a beautiful way to wrap it up, Matt. Thank you. Talking about, I love this exceptional future phrase is a phrase that I picked up from you, right? So I think that's a perfect way to wrap it up. Michael Ward, definitely do another. So coaches of the future, believing in themselves, believing in the fact that an exceptional future, this future that you talk about, the future that I talk about, fun, freedom, finances, fulfillment, believing that that is possible, then taking the steps that we talked about, depending on where you are in the journey, to find your way there.
And I think that formula will get you a really long way, is having that clarity of an exceptional future and starting to take actions in alignment to that future. So whatever that next action looks like for you, for anyone who's watching this, all we need is that next small step in alignment to that exceptional future, and we're bringing our future and making it a reality today. So with that, thank you guys so much for being here. And yeah, Michael, we'll do another one soon. So thank you, Chet, for jumping on. This was a pleasure.
Thanks,
as always. I look forward to many, many more.
Cheers, Matt.
Cheers.